I just watched the rise of the Islamic State. I was sitting at my desk, a pretty ordinary job in London, and it was a number of different things. I think one of the most powerful images was the Yazidis stuck on the mountain, and I was waiting for either Britain or America or anyone else, anyone in the West, to actually do something to rescue these people. But no help came, and I mean, then we didn't have a cohesive, coherent plan to fight ISIS, and we still don't now. So I just thought to myself, what can I do? Here's Kendall on Nobat. Let's have a look at Daesh. I knew that by fighting on the front line I wasn't actually going to change things myself, apart from obviously show solidarity with the Kurds, but at least by going I could draw some positive attention to the YPG and also highlight the failings of the current government. This might be too dangerous to film the enemy village because of snipers. Damn! I was part of a really good tabor. There was about 40 of us. It was a roving tabor actually, which meant that we travelled. We had our own cars, and we were to travel around the front and actually sort of go to wherever the fighting was the most heaviest. It was a very young tabor. The average age was about 20, and that's the real tragedy of what's going on out there. It really is a young person's war. Just last week I heard that 7 people of those 40 were killed, all in the same place. I don't know the circumstances of their deaths, but it just shows you that there's a lot happening on the ground that we don't really hear about in the West. You can see in the distance there where the Islamic State were bombed this morning by a plane. They've been very quiet ever since, which is understandable. I didn't go out to force my ideology on anybody. I went out to help people and stop the Islamic State, who were doing just that. We're trying to force our ideology on people and actually stay in the Middle East. I wanted to go, help, and come home again. So there's a big difference between me and an ISIS supporter, and I think the security services recognise that. There's a lot of talk in the British media and amongst sort of people on social media networks that somehow I've got preferential treatments, but it's simply not the case. If I'd gone and joined the Free Syrian Army, Al-Nusra, the Islamic State, or any other groups that are fighting in the region for their own ends and against the state, I would be in jail right now. I've been thinking quite hard about what my next step is. Since I've come home, I've heard about a lot of my friends who have been killed, and there is this desire within me to go back and actually rejoin the YPG and keep fighting ISIS. But I also think there's a lot I can do back in the UK. And also, of course, I think if I were to go back now, it would be for the wrong reasons. I went there before to draw attention to the conflict, to tell people about the YPG. I did that in many respects, and I've come home. To go back now would be for my own selfish reasons. So, yeah, I think if I were to go back, and I think what I will do is go back as a humanitarian, work in a refugee camp or something along those lines.